Welcome back to another NFL Weekly Recap right here on the Kanika Sports Channel as we are looking back at all of the NFL's Week 15 games and all the implications that have come from that, plus a look ahead at some of the big playoff implication matchups for Week 16. But first, if this is your first time here, please do us a favor, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell for our mascot, Frexy. Look at Freckles, everybody. She is the most adorable NFL doggo fan out there, and you know you just want to see new pictures of her every time you click on one of our videos. That's what you're going to get here on our show. And while I'm at it, let me take this opportunity to welcome my co-host, Nika, to the program. Nika, welcome to the NFL's Week 15 recap and look ahead.
Well, thank you. And warm welcome to our viewers that we have and our subscribers. And thank you for joining us on this journey.
Thank you for joining us on the NFL 2025 journey, the Ben Johnson era. We can say we were here for the start of it. And we've been really excited, I think, since the Bears hired Ben Johnson back last January about everything and anything Bears related.
That's true.
And it hasn't let us down. It's delivered big time and more. I think most Bears fans would say having 10 wins heading into week 16 of the NFL season is way ahead of where we had this team coming into the season. So that's awesome. That's exciting, and there's a lot to talk about. I want to kick it off with the Bears, and we did do our regular Bears post-game show yesterday. But one thing that has come out of this that I even brought up to Nika yesterday is this Caleb Williams pass that he made to DJ Moore for the third touchdown of the game. This put the Bears up 21-3. It was a virtual nail in the coffin, and some questions have come up about whether or not Caleb Williams should have thrown this ball to DJ Moore or if it was a, quote, dangerous pass, because there was a lot of traffic. Let's be honest.
Sure.
There's two or three players that are in the vicinity of the catch itself, and Caleb Williams had three players from the Browns chasing him to the far side of the sidelines over there. Now, I said to you yesterday, pretty much right out of the gate, that this reminded me of the catch, the Joe Montana pass. And I wasn't the only one that noticed this. This kind of took off and blew up and became a life of its own now on social media, which is great. Because when's the last time a Bears quarterback got compared to Joe freaking Montana? I don't know. Probably never.
Most likely.
So it's just really exciting times to be alive when your quarterback is getting compared to Joe Montana, and yet it's hilarious to me, the double standard that exists here, because, for someone like me, I immediately recognize this as the catch. Great sports moments of the 80s. Thank you, Al Michaels, for that VHS tape growing up. I knew all about the catch growing up. Even though I was born in 81, I had great sports moments of the 80s on VHS, so I knew basically everything that happened in the 80s that was worth talking about in sports. The catch was one of those things, and it was the start of Joe Montana's NFL legacy, I think.
So it was early.
It was his second or third season, I think, but second, I think. Anyways, that's not what's important. What's important is that when indeed you do look at this footage side by side, it is unmistakable to think that you are watching almost the same play. The biggest difference, I would say, is Caleb is doing it from further away. He's doing it from like 15 to 20 yards further out than Montana is. But when you watch the play, the way that Montana's being chased by three players on the Cowboys, Dwight Clark is covered in the end zone. He's not quite as covered, but the ball was high. It was the same type of throw, and it was right on the money.
It was.
And wow, holy crap. Caleb Williams is like Joe Montana out there, everybody.
40 years later.
43 years later.
Yeah, and some change.
Amazing. I just can't get over the fact that the Bears have finally, at long last, I'm going to say it, found their quarterback. Caleb Williams doesn't get enough credit for this, and I think it's because of the fact that he comes from Southern California. I think it's because of the fact that he painted his nails and whatnot, but the dude is a tough football player. I called this when he caught that touchdown pass versus the Browns. Like, he's more than just a QB with cute footwork and escapability. He's an actual football player.
He's a football player and maybe a football nerd in that regard.
He's been underestimated a bit. And
yes, absolutely.
yet you have a reporter in the postgame asking him, should you have thrown that pass? And I loved his answer. I loved how he said, yeah, I can make any pass.
Perfect.
Great response, Caleb. Keep it coming. Like, don't let these stupid Chicago reporters bully you around like that.
And
Yes.
try to get a gotcha
Yes. The
catch.
answer is
Yeah.
yes, you should have thrown the ball. The answer is every time, yes. You should make that throw.
Absolutely.
Even if he would have gotten intercepted on that throw,
Just
I would still say
imagine.
keep trying to make it.
Imagine
Oh my
the
gosh.
shitstorm that would follow.
They
if
would be
he
like
would-
nerfing him so much
Oh gosh.
instead of letting him grow from mistakes. This also was not the same rollout, but I mean, the ball that he underthrew in the Green Bay game. I mean, these rollout throws, I'm glad he's doing it. It makes the game fun.
He makes it look easy too.
Yeah. I mean, when
He
does.
rolls out, he has a harder time doing when he's under center and throwing in the pocket.
Yeah,
while running.
100%. Well, I just wanted to play this game with the media back and say maybe Joe Montana shouldn't have thrown the TD pass to Dwight Clark and, made the catch the moment of the 80s. Maybe that's what shouldn't have happened, because it was after all, it was a risky play, Nika.
Of course.
Yeah. Playoffs be damned.
Yeah.
The Niners at that point had never beaten Dallas in the playoffs. They were 0-3 against Dallas in the playoffs, and that was their first time beating them in 1982. Of course, they have had some memorable showdowns themselves, like 49ers Cowboys is almost as great as Bears and Packers. It's just not as lengthy. It's not as deep. It doesn't go back to the 20s.
That's fine.
The 1920s. All right. Well, I want to move on from this, but nice pass, Caleb Williams. Keep them coming. Don't be afraid to throw the ball. I need a little bit of Brett Favre in my Caleb Williams. I need a little bit of gunslinger out there. I don't want him to become protective of the football. I want him to be careful, obviously, and I think he's proven that. We'll talk about that more later. But I do want him to make the high reward, high risk throws sometimes. Not every play, but sometimes you got to go for it.
Absolutely.
And the more times you make them,
The
the
more
more
confident.
your muscle memory and your confidence is going to
Absolutely,
grow
yeah.
and just allow you to do it again and again and again.
And if Ben Johnson wouldn't believe in Caleb's ability to do that, he wouldn't schedule or orchestrate a certain place for him to do it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's move on to the topic of injuries, which is probably the biggest story around the NFL this week. And that is because two of the biggest NFL stars out there, Patrick Mahomes, the starting quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, and Micah Parsons, the starting defensive end for the Green Bay Packers, both suffering season-ending ACL tears in their knees. Just the worst, right?
Yeah.
The worst news, the Chiefs were eliminated from the playoffs in this game in the process, as well as losing Mahomes. They lose their playoffs for the first time in how many years? I don't even remember what, but it's been a long
It's been
time.
a while.
They lose to the Chargers at home Sunday. And then the Packers, they go on the road to the Broncos. They have two pretty big injuries during the game. Christian Watson, their number one wide receiver, he went down with a shoulder injury. He had to be taken to the hospital. Then Micah Parsons goes down like 5 minutes after him with the knee injury. And all of a sudden, the Packers are being written off. They are falling fast in the NFL power rankings lists that have come out today. If you look at them, just falling so fast, not even in the top 10. The Bears have shot ahead of them in a lot of people's lists. I think I only saw one top 10 power rankings list where the Packers were still just one spot ahead of the Bears, basically because the Bears haven't beaten them yet.
Okay.
And I say yet because we have this big showdown coming up this weekend. And I just want to say right now, I would not as a Bears fan, count the Packers out yet. That just seems like bad football karma to me. So I am not in that camp. I think the Packers should still be on the board ahead of the Bears right now a little bit, even though the Bears have retaken first place. They haven't beaten the Packers. They haven't beaten the Lions. These are the big dogs from your division, and everybody knows it. Everybody knows it.
Yeah.
So until we show that we can go toe-to-toe with those teams, and we get two more chances at both of them, one more chance at each of them, but two chances, and then so both of them are on our home turf, I want to remind. So that's an advantage for us a little bit. I'm excited for these rematches too. Having said that, I do want to leave one last thought here, is that when it comes down to the NFL season, in my experience, 44 years on this earth, a lot of times the last teams standing at the end of the season are the healthiest ones. And that's because we play this game that is
very physical,
very violent at times. And, I see more and more concussions. I know they're being extra careful and stuff, but damn. I actually saw Javonte Williams on the Cowboys get out of concussion protocol. That's a rare thing when you see somebody leave the game and go into the tent and they're like checking him for a concussion, and then he comes out and he's all out to go back in the game.
Oh, that's good.
That's a rare thing. So I did see that this weekend, but
there's a lot of
anyways,
injuries.
yeah. And that's why I think, the Bears, luckily, knock on wood, have managed to weather their injury storm well throughout the season. So
they have a bone broth on the sidelines.
Oh,
that's a
wasn't
superfood right now.
I could not find any mention of that in the media. I did hear this at the beginning of the broadcast on Fox. I wish I might have to go back and rewatch the game or something and try and find this clip, because they said they had bone broth on the sidelines for the Bears players.
And that is a superfood.
The best thing you should have it on the sidelines when it's 90 degrees.
It might be a little too hot, but sure.
Well, you can serve it at room temp, You can just
put some ice cubes. A few shots
have
of
some
it.
bone broth on ice, everybody. Yum.
That's right.
Anyways, back to these injuries, just to kind of put a bow on this. It can be a season ender.
Yes.
Just one player. And the Packers are really suffering right now. Packers fans, they gave up a lot for Micah Parsons. They do not have a first-round draft pick the next 2 seasons. And that can be hard to overcome for a franchise. I mean,
yes,
it doesn't sound like a lot on paper, but it is so much. And the talent goes quick in the NFL. Doesn't mean you can't find talent late, but you got to really, really get lucky, like kind of the Bears did with Kyle Monungai, maybe.
Sure.
So anyways, best wishes to Patrick Mahomes and Micah Parsons as far as, their recovery and getting back on the field as soon as possible. I mean, these injuries are so late in this season, it's probably going to roll into the start of next season.
Most likely 9
for
months.
both of them.
9
to 12 months.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So you're definitely talking like they might not be out there for training camp. What does that do to the Chiefs next year if Patrick Mahomes is not working with the team in the very early goings on in training camp? We'll see. That's not for here. That's not for now. What is here and what is now is that Denver and LA, the Rams, are going to the postseason. They officially clinched their spot. They punched their ticket, Nika. The Broncos and the Rams are the first 2 teams to clinch, and that means only 12 spots remain.
Yes.
Out of 14. And the Broncos, of course, beat Green Bay. We mentioned that. The Rams did it at home against the Lions. So both teams punching their tickets against the NFC North. And it just so happens it was the Bears' rivals, everybody. And it was these 2 defeats that allowed the Bears to get back into first place at 10-4, heading into week 16. Man, that is still weird to say. The Bears in first place heading into week 16. Elsewhere, we had the Eagles finally winning after losing 3 straight games. They just manhandled the Raiders at home. The Panthers, everybody, could not beat the New Orleans Saints. And that means the Buccaneers are right back in first place at 7-7. Now, I want to point something out here that I didn't even know until I looked a little closer this morning, and they play each other twice before the season's out. So 2 of the final 3 games will feature the Buccaneers versus the Panthers. One at their place, one at the Bucs, one at the Panthers, and yeah, that's going to decide this division most likely. So
somebody that made a schedule has a laugh at the end.
yeah, there's some great scheduling. We're going to talk about that in 1 second. Elsewhere, Dallas, speaking of laying eggs, everybody, Dallas laid a big egg on Sunday Night Football, losing to J.J. McCarthy and the Minnesota Vikings at their place.
Yep.
Just awful. And J.J. McCarthy running that naked bootleg, everybody, as one of the highlights of the week for me.
Yeah, it was really
what a
good.
nice naked bootleg. He skirted into the end zone untouched.
Between Caleb's throw and JJ's McCarthy's fun play,
Yeah,
it was a very interesting week for football.
Definitely. And speaking of interesting weeks, how about the New England Patriots, everybody, blowing a huge lead at home to Buffalo?
That's right.
I could not believe this one, and I don't think a lot of people around the NFL could either. That division is now just a game apart. 11-3 for the Patriots, 10-4 for the Bills. Yeah. The Steelers win on Monday Night Football last night against the Dolphins. That means they stay a game ahead of the Ravens, who won at Cincinnati. But the Colts and their 44-year-old grandpa quarterback, Phillip Rivers, who, let's just say, I heard something about health insurance expiring on his end, so it just restarted the clock. Yeah, him and his 10 kids now have health insurance again via the NFL, so that's good for him because the Colts are going to need him. They lose at Seattle. They fall to 8-6. Both teams are still barely alive. They are the only two bubble teams that remain in the AFC because the Chiefs were eliminated. So we're down to 2 on the outside looking in, and it is the Ravens and it is the Colts. Now, there is some hope for those teams. The Jaguars are duking it out with the Texans and the Colts now for first place, but the Texans and Colts play each other. So it's not over yet for the Colts fans. You got some hope. And Phillip Rivers, for all intents and purposes, didn't play horrible for not having played a game in 5 years.
He played really good. He stepped into the field and he only had a week to prepare.
A week. Yeah.
That's
it
not
was
a lot.
like signed on Monday and out there on Tuesday practicing. So
He was ready.
Rock'em, sock'em, nuke'em, duke'em. It was fast, everybody. Well, yeah, so lots happening here in the NFL with the standings, of course. The Bears in first. The Eagles holding that 2-game edge over the Cowboys in the loss column. And the Cowboys have a less than 1% chance of making the playoffs now.
So they still have a sliver.
A sliver, yeah. It's not looking too damn good, though. The Bears go up from 64 to 74%, holding on to the number 2 spot in the NFC. They would get a home game against the Packers if it ended today. Ouch. Let's go out and beat them once before we have to host them in the playoffs, shall we? All right. Well, we got some games this weekend to talk about, folks. Week 16 is looking like the best week of the season yet. I mean, it just keeps happening.
Christmas. It's Christmas coming.
Christmas is coming. We are almost to week 17 is when we'll have some actual Christmas Day games. That's kind of exciting. But we got to get there first. And we're going to have this matchup, Nika, which is that the Rams and Seahawks, both sitting at 11-3 atop the NFC West, are going to face each other on this week's Thursday night game. So they get the short week and they have to go into this hugely consequential game. This is Thursday Night Football dream matchup if you're the NFL. The ratings for this game are probably going to be off the charts. And the winner of this game is going to hold a huge advantage when it comes to who's going to win the NFC West and who might go on to actually win this NFC.
Oh, wow. So huge implications.
Huge implications are on the line here. The Seahawks have won 4 in a row. The Rams have won 2 in a row. Wow, something's going to give in this game. This is exciting stuff right here. And this game is in Seattle. Seattle at home this year is 5-2. They are 6-1 away from. They're actually a better road team. Who would have guessed? What a matchup, Nika. That's on Thursday night. So that's your appetizer for the week. Just the NFC West is on the line. Fast forwarding to Saturday, and we have the NFC North back on the line in Chicago at Soldier Field. The Bears hosting the Packers for the second time in 3 weeks. These two teams will get it on, though I am going to note that many things have changed, as we mentioned earlier. Micah Parsons not being on the field for the Packers will hugely impact this game and the Packers' season going forward. So it's just facts.
Either that or
how much so? We'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see on Saturday how they punch
how
back.
they play. Exactly.
Other game of interest to Cowboys fans potentially is the Eagles are playing at Washington, and the Eagles, by all intents and purposes, should win this game. Washington has shut down Jaden Daniels for the season, speaking of injuries. And so he's not going to be on the field anymore this year. And the Eagles should win this game. The Cowboys fans are hoping and praying that they somehow lose, because I think this might be the dagger that goes into the Cowboys' hearts if the Eagles should win. Speaking of Cowboys, they will be hosting the Chargers. So if they should somehow stay alive, if the Eagles lose on Saturday, the Cowboys can put their playoff picture to the test against the playoff team from the AFC, the Chargers, and we'll see if they can do it. I'm not impressed with the Cowboys losing to Minnesota. I think things would be much more interesting had they somehow figured out a way to win that game. We mentioned the Buccaneers and the Panthers are playing each other. They are playing in Carolina this weekend. So the final game of the season will be in Tampa.
Okay.
Woo. Buckle up, folks. These Steelers, who are fresh off of that big Monday night win against Miami, they are heading to the Motor City, Nika, to face the Lions. So while the Bears and Packers will be deciding what happens atop the NFC North, the Lions, who are just lurking very closely in the background at 8-6 and holding on to a 40% chance at the playoffs, they will be hosting the Steelers, who are battling for the top of the AFC North. I mean, this is some great matchups for this week in the NFL. And then we get Sunday Night Football, the game of the week, Patriots at Ravens, everybody. The Ravens, who we just showed are on the bubble, fighting for their collective playoff lives, going up against the Patriots, who lose for the first time in how many games? 10 games or something last week to Buffalo at home. Now go on the road to face a desperate Baltimore team. Can't write it any better.
No.
Good stuff all around. And Buffalo, meanwhile, will play Cleveland, who got spanked by the Bears. Absolutely spanked. And so you got to think the Bills are probably going to win
most likely
somehow against Cleveland. I'm not saying it won't be close, but somehow they will find a way to win. And that means pressure's on New England to not lose at, this is
a lot of games with a lot of consequences.
This is why there's been such a carousel of teams going in and out of positions week after week after week right now. And it's going to happen again this weekend. There's going to be rapid movement all over the place.
It's a roller coaster
Crazy
ride.
stuff, everybody. All right. Well,
that's what makes it so interesting.
It is. And to cap it off, we get a Monday night game of extreme consequence with the 49ers heading to Indianapolis to face Grandpa Rivers on Monday Night Football. So all eyes will be on Phillip Rivers and the 49ers 10-4. The 49ers 10-4, sitting in third place in their division. The Bears 10-4 atop their division. They play each other next week. The Bears and 49ers do. So there is so many playoff teams already getting in to battle with each other right when the playoffs are getting ready to start 3 weeks from now. So exciting stuff. And man, I can't wait to see how it all shakes out. As long as the Bears make it at this point, that's all I care about. Just find a way to get in, because I think they need the experience, at this point. You get this close and they're so well coached. I think the best thing the Bears can do is win this weekend against Green Bay and put more space between them and the Packers and Lions. That's all. And please go out and win. And then Pittsburgh, do us a solid in Detroit. That would be
huge.
Chef's kiss right there. All right, Nico. Well, before we get out of here, I want to talk about Caleb Williams for a second, speaking of the Bears. And I wanted to talk about something that happened over the weekend that nobody really had on their radar. Nobody was talking to it going into this game. But Caleb Williams, during the game against Cleveland in the freezing cold Chicago weather, made his 1,000th career attempt. And it became known that he had then set an NFL record for having the fewest amount of interceptions ever in your first 1,000 attempts. And you would think, oh, he's doing something right. He's doing something well, you know? And yet all we hear about all the time is the criticisms and how he's not doing good enough for people and how he's not learning fast enough for people. And this whole instant gratification culture that has taken over our sports is having a huge direct impact, in my opinion, on number 18. And, you know, the fact that he has to answer for, you know, what he wrote and said to Seth Wickersham last year in the April of last year. Go back and look at the tapes. You know, like the Chicago media was like demanding answers, like, how dare you want to play for the Vikings? How dare you? And so
you're not wrong.
To
it's
come
horrible.
where he is now, week 16, you know, all these months and weeks later from where we started when Ben Johnson had just taken over. And it's like, we got to talk about this now, really?
Yeah.
Like, I want him to be on the field learning Ben Johnson's offense, and you're distracting him. That's how I kind of looked at it at the time. So to get to where we are now, week 16, I think it's so great that the Bears have turned this corner as a franchise. They seem to have found this marriage of head coach and quarterback and done it early enough where they can maybe become something special. It's a long way to go, but when you see things like I'm about to show you, you understand why. Because the 12 interceptions in 1,000 attempts that Caleb Williams has is not, in my impression, or not in my opinion, the most important stat that I saw over the weekend regarding him and his future. And that would be this post by the NFL on CBS. This went out at 10:35 a.m. on Monday. So the Monday after, this was the highest pass TD to interception ratio since the AFL merged with the NFL in 1970 and having a minimum of 1,000 passing attempts.
Okay.
And there's a list of 6 quarterbacks on here with the best. This is ratio. Now, this is touchdowns for every 1 interception. So the top of the list, Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
4.3 touchdowns for every 1 interception that he threw in his first 1,000 attempts. This is just with a minimum of 1,000 attempts. So this is the list right now. Caleb Williams is second all time.
Okay.
If you have a minimum of 1,000 attempts. Now, he just got 1,000 attempts. Aaron Rodgers probably has like 4,000 attempts at this point. So he still is way up there. I want to remind people, Aaron Rodgers sat his first 2.5 years in the league, you know, and learned behind Brett Favre.
Sure.
So he wasn't on the field like Caleb Williams has been learning on the job. He was learning in film class like he probably is better off for. And maybe Caleb Williams and others would be better off for, but that's not the era we live in, unfortunately. Yes. It's like if you want to be the number 1 overall pick, your expectation is that you're going to be on the field immediately. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, and Tom Brady are the rest of this list. And you're talking about MVPs in this league multiple times over. And to me, that's the most important stat about Caleb Williams coming out of this week 15 win over the Browns is like, look at where he ranks amongst these names. And to top it off, he's making passes out there like Joe frickin' Montana, great sports moments of the 80s. Like, I don't want to hear any more week-to-week trial by fire with this kid. Can we just enjoy the last 3 damn weeks of the season, push this team into the playoffs, and just enjoy that?
I don't think you're speaking the language of the modern media right now. They want the drama and the bickering.
I know, and it's just, this to me is falling on deaf ears for myself personally. Like any commentary about how he's not doing it good enough, fast enough is just horseshit to me at this point.
It's trash.
Know? And there's a lot of numbers and there's a lot of statistics out there that show otherwise, that show he might be one of the best ever. Look at this list.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes are 3 of the best ever? Not to mention you got 2-time MVP Lamar Jackson on that list.
It's an elite company.
It is. And I think we should all just get off of this crap and start to enjoy this more.
Absolutely.
You know?
And stop being such a hypocrite about it.
We are so well managed and coached right now, and that I don't think anything severely dramatic is going to happen with this team down the stretch. You know, they're going to go out there and play these final 3 games well. Whether they win them or not is that's to be determined.
Yes.
But I'm just saying they're not going to play sloppy
No.
right now. They're going to play sharp.
And
I
they're
believe
going to
that.
come prepared.
Absolutely. So get excited, everybody. Caleb Williams, record setter and elite company list quarterback. You know who I don't see on this list? I don't see Jordan Love on this list.
Oh, no?
You know who else I don't see on this list? I don't see Drake May on this list.
Maybe.
I don't see
Well.
Bo Nix on this list. I just don't. I'm not trying to throw darts at the board either. I'm just saying Caleb has taken a lot of shit.
Of course.
A lot. And I don't see their names on this list. But I
Okay.
do see Tom Brady.
I know, but did they have 1,000 throws?
They have to. They have to
I don't
by
know.
now. I would guess that they do.
Okay.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for our week 15/16 preview here. 15 recap, 16 preview, whatever. We're just kind of, we're in the middle. It's so fun right now. I was glued to my TV Sunday. I was glued watching these games and like, what's going to happen here? Who's going to move and shake because of this win and loss? You know, like, oh man, it's just great stuff all around. And you can't even look ahead right now because you got to like wait until the dust settles on this week before you look at week 17 and know what's truly consequential.
Yeah. Go Steelers, go Bears.
Go Steelers, go Bears. That's the week 16 mantra around this household. Let us know who you're rooting for out there in the comments. And if you're rooting for the Packers, yeah, blood. It's a bloodbath, baby. It's the rivalry.